Hi, and welcome back to Nerd Dog Podcast, episode 54, I think. I'm Josef, and today we are gonna talk a little bit about 1985's Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, Part 5. Of the franchise. And together with me here, I got Zombie and Ogge. Angel had some stuff to do, so she's sitting this one out. How are you guys doing? Okay,
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
you were out of action for 2 episodes, so it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was sick, and then I had to help a friend with a car.
Yeah. Well, sometimes life happens, so
Yeah.
can't really get around that.
Yeah.
I know.
Zombie, how are you doing today?
I am doing good. Nothing much happened. So, yeah.
Okay. We are recording this the day after Halloween. Did you guys do anything special? Like watch the scary movie or something?
Sadly, I don't know too many people that like scary movies, so meh.
I thought you would say that you didn't know what you did last night.
It was all a blur.
Okay.
But
Okay, did you catch anything last night?
I started watching the show called Haunting of something something. What's it
Hill
called?
House?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Netflix series.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I watched that, and it seems pretty good. I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes, but it seemed definitely interesting. So far it's given me some like The Conjuring vibes.
nice.
Okay.
It reminded me a lot of it. So yeah, I'm excited to see if it's good or not.
Yeah. Did you guys do anything else besides okay, watching a series and someone being piss ass drunk and not knowing what he did last night?
Ah, if only I could. If only.
Okay.
I have healing wounds, so I cannot drink, which makes me sad.
Oh. Oh yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, lost a knife fight to a
Mm.
doctor, the usual.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I made a pumpkin pie because, basic. And also rewatched 2 Halloween-esque movies.
Huh?
Uh, I, with my sister and a friend, I watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Corpse Bride. Very,
Well, those are sort of horror.
kinda, uh, kinda not, but yeah. A Rocky Horror Picture Show, it is simply crazy and a musical, and I just love Tim
Yeah,
Curry.
but yeah, he's an awesome actor. But isn't that horror themed? That musical?
Yes and no. It does have the word horror in it, but
Mm.
and it does is based very loosely on Frankenstein, which is
Okay.
kind of, but it's not like very. It's not a scary movie in the sense.
Mm.
So yeah, and there's like one death. No, not actually. Like all the death happens in like last 5 minutes.
Mm.
So like it's if you go in as like a horror fan, it's not what you will expect at all. But yeah,
So it's not a movie that Ogge would like them.
I do not believe so. Like it's a very weird. simply put it.
Mm. I've never seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, it's worth
Uh,
a watch,
uh,
if not for Tim Curry's singing.
I like Tim Curry in a lot of stuff he's been done in, but I think I mentioned it on the Wickerman episode we did that I'm not into uh, musicals that much.
Yeah,
Well, I don't like musicals at all.
it's very much a musical, so yeah.
Mm, yeah, that's pretty much why it has scared me away, I guess.
Yeah.
But you said you have rewatched Corpse Bride
Yes,
as well,
it's
the Tim Burton movie.
yes it is, and it has
Mhm.
all the classical of Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in it also.
Mm.
And
I haven't watched that since I guess like a year or two after it was released. I remember it being really good, but
it's very simple, but it's very good for what it is, I think.
mm, mm,
And it doesn't necessarily have like that happily ever after for everyone, but it's very nice.
mm. Have you seen any of those two? Okay.
No, I haven't.
Mm. Have you seen what's that one called? The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Corpse Bride is sort of a follow-up. It's not a sequel, but it's sort of a follow-up to that movie. It's in the same vein as the Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's very much the
Oh,
same style, at the very
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
cool.
Didn't Burton do a third movie in the same style,
Uh,
vein,
Fra
or whatever?
Frankenweenie. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
nah, me neither. But people like to think that all three of them are like linked somehow, just in the wrong order
Yeah,
because it all has this boy or a man and their dog in a very state of dead.
yeah. Okay. Um, have you watched anything else, or do you have anything else you wanna?
I did watch Halloween Town, which is a like kids movie, but it was mostly for my friends' nostalgia. That had
Mm,
watched it as a kid, which is very much like you would like it as a kid, kind of deal.
mm. It's very childish.
Yeah,
Okay. By the way, speaking of Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Christmas, have you seen Coraline?
I have. It is
Uh,
made by the same director of the Night Before Christmas. I don't remember his name
Tim,
though.
that's Tim Burton.
Uh, actually, not because Tim Burton was actually movie making the movie Dark Knight Rises, I believe. And there was another man that actually directed the movie. Tim Burton was mostly there for because he made the
He produced the movie, or
he made the story of it mostly of Night Before Christmas in like a poem, and he was there like in bits and pieces. But
Mhm.
there was another guy that did the majority of the directional work for that movie, who also did Coraline.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm checking it up right now, and I'm an idiot. Yeah, you're completely correct.
It's very easy to miss because Tim Burton
Mm.
gets like all
Yeah,
the
well,
credibility.
yeah, well, it's called Tim Burton's The Nightmare
Yeah,
Before Christmas.
I think
Uh,
he's more of a selling name, if anything, because people
yeah,
know him and his style.
Holy shit, Danny Elfman did the voice for Jack Skellington.
Yeah.
Huh. Danny Elfman did the music for the Batman movies
As well.
that Burton did.
Yeah.
And he also did the music for the Tales from the Crypt TV series.
Ooh.
And well, he's done music for a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. But yes, okay, do you have anything else you catched with your eyes?
Not really.
Not even Class of 1999?
No, I haven't had time. Sorry.
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay. I was really hoping that you had watched it so we could get your opinion about it.
Yeah.
Okay, on a later episode, though.
Get someone
Yeah.
else on your side.
Yeah, exactly. Both Zombie and Angel bashed the hell out of that movie.
Hmm.
And they told me I'm an idiot and I started to cry and,
Assholes.
yeah, bastards. Okay, so I have been watching a couple of things. I didn't think that I was gonna be able to catch anything before we were gonna record this episode, but I did. I went over to Mom last night and we sat down and watched 3 movies back to back, and then I watched a 4th movie by myself. The first one we watched was Circle from 2015. It's up on the Swedish Netflix.
That was good.
I
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
I think I've
Okay.
seen it as well. If
Yeah, well, the plot is basically about 50 people wakes up in a circle in a dark room.
yeah.
They have no recollection of how they got there, and they don't know why they are there. But they pretty soon realizes that they have to vote for who's gonna die next. Um, uh, it was a rewatch for me, and Mom didn't really understand what the movie was really about. But I really enjoyed that one. I think we will talk about it a bit
Yeah.
more on a later episode, I believe.
It is very interesting that they could have made an entire movie in like one room
Yeah.
without much movement.
The-
I really like that, what they did with it.
There's actually a whole subgenre of those kind of movies. There's you could um, you could say that the Cube trilogy is sort of like that in this one room kind of deal. Even though they are going through multiple rooms, it's they're just
Identical.
stuck in this one location throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then you got the escape room movies. There are 3 of those. They're not connected in any way or shape or form, but they are all called escape room.
Mm.
And then you also got exam, which takes place in just one room, the entire film. And I can actually recommend that one as well. It's a thriller, but yeah. The next movie we watched, all 3 of the movies I watched with Mom was rewatches. The second one we watched was Hereditary.
Mm.
Hmm.
I know for a fact that both of you have seen that one.
Yeah.
Zombie watched it together with me at the cinema, and I know you Ogge, watched it like 2 months before us, I think.
Yeah, I got some like free tickets, and that was like when it
Oh.
first aired in Sweden.
Yeah.
I got free tickets to it.
Nice.
Yeah, they usually have like, at least here in town, where if you go to a movie a lot, you can get free tickets to kind of like, it's usually kind of exclusive but like unknown movies,
Hmm.
and you get to see them very early before anyone knows anything about them really.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
it's a very well-known movie now.
Yeah.
So, there's not really any point in going into it, really. I think we also talked about it on an earlier episode during the recently seen. Um, and my opinion stands, I guess. I think it's a good movie, but I don't think it's the second coming of horror, as a lot of people think it is.
really,
Uh, com-
I-
huh?
really, do people think that?
Yeah, some people do,
Oh,
and it's it's the same thing with Get Out, for example, which is, in my opinion, Get Out is basically this political baseball bat in form of a movie.
yeah,
But not going into that. Like I said, I think it's a good movie, but I don't love it, and I don't think it's this second coming horror. And I also think that they could have shaved off like 10, perhaps 15 minutes even of the running time, because there are so many fucking slow parts where they are just panning the camera just to be artsy.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know, it just drags on and on and on, and nothing fucking happens.
yeah.
And
I
but
rem- I remember I didn't like it that much because a lot of the time when me and the friend that I watched with, we both didn't really understand what it was about. It was like a tragic family sort of stuff at first, and then it turns into horror.
yeah,
And
well, there's a reason to everything that happens in the movie. Um, when I was watching it for the second time now, I picked up on a lot of things that I didn't pick up on the first viewing of the movie.
okay,
So it's one of those kind of movies. You basically need
Yeah.
to see it 2 or 3 times to pick everything up and understand the entire picture, so to say.
yeah,
But yeah, it's probably a movie we will cover at some point, I guess. This is so well known.
It feels like with a lot of like horror movies that we will cover them at some point.
Yeah,
yeah.
well,
But yeah,
that,
most
that's a
likely.
fact.
It's not a question of if, but when.
Hmm. And the third movie, and this one we have covered, was Don't Breathe.
Ooh.
Uh, I can't really remember what I said about it in the episode we did, but if I remember if I remember correctly, I said it was a real nail-biting horror flick, like a backwards home invasion movie,
Yeah,
sort of. And I still stand by it. I really love Don't Breathe. And speaking of that movie, Stephen Lang twittered like a month ago that the filming of Don't Breathe 2 is done, and
Ooh.
it will have a premiere next year. I think it was in the fall. I think I might be incorrect, but I think it was in the fall.
cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
Actually, I have watched a movie,
Hmm.
Annihilation.
Oh,
On,
that's weird sci-fi.
Yeah, I guess like existential, Lovecraftian horror, sci-fi kind of.
Yeah.
There's
I,
like,
I haven't seen it, but I know that it bombed at the box office, and they pulled the movie like after 2 weeks or something and put it on Netflix instead.
it's not that bad. It's quite good actually, but it's one of those you have to see several times.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I guess, The Mist or Bird Box, where you have no idea what's going on. Like the plot is that there's like, I guess, kind of like a force field that slowly grows and grows,
Mm.
and everything that goes in there just disappears. Like nobody's made it out, and they don't know what it is. But eventually they have to stop it because since it's always growing and growing, eventually it's gonna, destroy a city or something.
Mm.
And yeah, there for some reason a bunch of girls are gonna have like a military girls, of course, have like some kind of expedition in there and try to stop it. So I actually liked it. I'm gonna have to see it again before since I didn't really understand much. But
Mm.
but you're not supposed to either. The first time watching it, at least.
Yeah. It's kind of a mindfuck movie from what I've heard.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, the fourth movie I saw last night was a movie you guys have talked a little bit in the, I think, recently seen, or we've at least mentioned it, I think. And that was 2016's Hush, the home invasion movie with the deaf and dumb author chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have mentioned it at the very least.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was. I thought the idea behind the movie, like making the main character deaf and dumb, ups the suspension or suspense a little bit, but in in the core of the movie, it's just a typical home invasion movie. It didn't really. It had a couple of really suspenseful moments and scenes, which I thought was really well done. Um, but overall, it didn't really deliver any surprises, and I knew how it would end, um, or I rather could guess how it would end.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I thought it was an okay movie, but it's nothing I'm gonna have any hurry to rewatch really. Opinions on that one, boys?
I have not watched it, so
Oh, I thought you had.
I haven't, but I have thought about like picking it
Mm.
for an episode.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So
I've
like
seen. I think it's quite good.
I've seen trailers only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a bad movie. I'm not saying that it's a bad movie. Perhaps it's just me being a bit strung out when it comes to home invasion movies or something. I don't know. It's just it, it feels like that most home invasion movies goes in one of two ways. Either the intruders kills the people in the house, or the people in the house kills the intruder.
Yeah,
It usually is that, or those two ways a home invasion movie goes.
Yeah.
yeah,
So there are exceptions. I won't say which movies, but there are exceptions that throws in a little bit of the slasher genre into the mix as well. So
Yeah.
just to up the antics.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much everything I've been watching. I watched 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt series, but I'm not done with season 4 yet. But, oh yeah, by the way, speaking of Tales from the Crypt, I've ordered a comic of Tales from the Crypt. I've received it as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, cool.
Mm. Very.
Neato.
Yes. Okay.
Are
Do you
they
guys have anything?
are they still alive in making those comics?
The original lineup was, the original comics was released in the 50s
Mm.
by EC Comics, and they released not just uh, not only the Tales from the Crypt, but they also released comics such as Shock Suspense Stories, Haunt of Fear, Vault of Horror, and a couple of other comics, which were targeted towards a more adult audience, but parents started to complain about their kids reading these horror comics, these violent horror and thriller comics. So it turned into basically a hysteria
Yeah.
around these comics back in the 50s. So they eventually had to stop releasing the magazines.
Mm. Sad.
Yeah. But yes, do you guys have anything else before we roll the trailer?
No.
I don't.
Nine. Okay. So here is the trailer for Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
If the memory of Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Severe trauma at age 12. Brutal self-defense, murder of a psychopathic killer. Boy, they've given him every therapy they can think of. It's wonder his mind isn't fried with all the drugs they've given him.
The mindless, murderous fury that was buried with Jason has been reborn.
Pete!
And suddenly, terror has become child's play. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
5 years after killing the hockey-masked killer Jason Voorhees, Tommy Jarvis has grown up in various mental institutions, unable to get over the nightmares about Jason's return. When Tommy is sent to a rural house in New Jersey for mentally disturbed teenagers, a series of grisly murders begin anew as someone in a hockey mask begins to kill off all people at and around the residence. As Jason returned from the dead to restart his killing spree, has Tommy decided to take over the reign of Jason? Or has someone else? Okay, I know for a fact that Ogge has watched this at least once, perhaps twice. And I'm pretty sure you haven't watched it before, Zombie. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Ogge then.
I've seen it. This was probably the third time watching it,
Mhm.
and I think it's quite good. It's one of the better slasher movies I've seen. It's not that it's not as drawn out as most slashers, I think. Yeah, it's I think it's one of the better Friday the 13th movies. So it's 7 or 8 out of 10.
Damn.
Yeah, I like it.
Mhm.
Dito.
So
That was a quick session.
yeah,
Zombie, what do you think about this?
I really like the plot of it. How they decided to continue and pick up from like the fourth one in like and the fact that they decided at the very least in this movie that Jason is dead. And pick somebody else to do it.
Yeah, make it into a whodunit.
Yeah, and use like Jason more as a title of killer rather than Jason himself. And the fact that they included Tommy in it as well to make it seem like he'd done it, and how when they made the movie that every time like there was a kill, that they panned back almost immediately to him to like either make the viewer think that he was the murderer or just show the connection of like Jason and himself. And yeah, it is nice kills in it. Nothing worthwhile, but a hefty good number of kills also. And yeah,
I would have loved to see um, this movie completely uncut. It is cut, like most of the other Friday movies
Yeah.
by the MPAA. But I would have loved to see this completely uncut.
definitely.
From what I've understood, if they hadn't cut down the violence in it, it would have gotten an X rating, and that says a lot.
Oof. I didn't know it went above R.
X rating isn't really a rating. X rating is what porn movies get.
Ah.
If a movie get an X rating, like bigger chains, shopping mall chains, won't sell the movie,
I see.
and theaters won't show it either. So
Yeah.
if a movie get a X rating and it's not a porn movie, it would most likely result in death of the movie. So
That's very understandable. A bit sad, but very understandable.
the funny thing is that if the Friday the 13th movies had been done today, the violence in them would have been pretty tame. If you think about it,
Definitely. Like,
if you compare it to a lot of gorier horror movies that are made today, they would be pretty tame in comparison.
yeah, I think they had the luxury of being like early in the fact that they didn't need to be as gory because you couldn't really compare them to what we have today because pretty much many of them had the same like violence that it's just like I believe recently the horror industry decided to up the ante in
Yeah.
the bloodiness and all of that, which does make them look tame.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, they are violent, of course. They are pretty good examples, like the restorated scenes in My Bloody Valentine, which are very graphic
Yeah.
for its time.
Like
Um,
it it would be very interesting to see the movies done before done today, but it would also be very interesting to see the movies done today done then to like kinda
yeah,
see how they would have
I,
done it.
I would have loved to like read a review of a Serbian film from 1982 or something.
That movie it is in a category in and of itself, I feel.
Have you seen it?
I have.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Oof.
Well, you earn my respect, sir.
I don't know if I want it, to be honest.
And a funny thing is that we will definitely cover that at some point.
Ah,
Am I right, Ogge?
Yeah, definitely. We should do Cannibal Holocaust too.
Yeah, back to back.
Yeah. In a way, that was even worse than Serbian film, in my opinion.
Yeah, they slaughter real life animals in that one.
Yeah.
But they did that in a couple of other Italian cannibal movies as well, like Cannibal Ferox and what's that one called? The the last cannibal mount. No, I can't remember. The man from Deep Jungle River or something. I think one is called.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the cannibal flicks from the late 70s, early 80s, but I've seen most of them.
Okay.
But yes, sorry for interrupting you, Somi.
No. I lost my train of thought, so it's quite fine.
But what rating would you give this installment of the series?
I think I would give it like a 6 or 7 or 6.5. It was very
Oh,
nice.
okay. All right. I guess it's my turn then. Okay, so Friday the 13th, Part 5, got a very special place in my heart, and that's because of two reasons. First of all, it was the very, very first slasher movie I ever saw.
Ooh.
I think I must have been 8, almost 9 years old. It was before Angel was born. Um, and unfortunately, it was on the Swedish VHS release, which was cut even more to shreds than it was already cut.
Yeah.
And this was way before I even knew or understood that there were an entire subgenre of movies called slasher movies. And well, even though I continued to consume these types of movies after I had seen Friday Part 5, I didn't, you know, understood that they were connected in a genre way, you know.
Yeah.
And second of all, I saw it together with mine and Angel's dad, which for me is kind of a special since our old man doesn't really he doesn't really like horror movies whatsoever. He doesn't despise them, but he's not interested. So that's a pretty nice little memory from my childhood, uh, which I which is connected to this movie. Um, and I know that I've said in the past that the original Friday the 13th uh, is my favorite out of the entire series, but as the years has passed on, I think my opinion has changed a little bit. Um, I still love the original and regard it as one of the best slasher movies ever made. But I think Friday Part 5 takes the number one spot for me nowadays. Um, it's just effortlessly entertaining, and it doesn't try to be anything else but a dumb and cheesy slasher movie. Um, it got a minimal plot, which itself is completely ridiculous. It got tons of murders, wacky and hilarious dialogue, and it got wacky characters and, of course, completely pointless characters that just shows up to get killed off 5 minutes later. For instance, the guy who comes knocking on Ethel's door and asks to do some work for her.
Mm.
In the next scene he's in, he dies.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of pointless characters in this movie, but man, oh man, that guy. Um, the tone and the feeling from the first four movies are, of course, completely gone here. Uh, but I can say that I mind that aspect of the film, to be honest. Friday Part 5 cuts the bullshit, skips the long-ish build-up the previous films had, and just throws everything in the kitchen sink into the plot, and the result is effortless entertainment, in my opinion.
Mm.
So yeah, I love Friday the 13th Part 5, and it will always have a special place in my heart. So yeah, the rating will be 10 out of 10 without a doubt. If I could go higher, I would. It's just it's just a stupid slasher movie that doesn't try to be anything else.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
It is a very nice movie indeed. And like,
Well, I wouldn't say it's a nice movie. I would say it is super trashy. It's basically
it,
a train wreck of a movie, really. But it got so many small plot points that doesn't make any sense, but they do make sense in like a cocaine-ish kind of way, and the whole movie is just.
I think it's nice because it doesn't try to be like an Oscar-worthy movie,
Yeah, far from.
but it does what like it knows what best to do. Kill.
I would say that this movie was made by cocaine.
Well,
That's a pretty good.
they did have it in the movie, so you know.
Well, from what I've heard, there were a lot of cocaine flowing around at the set as well. The director Dennis Steinman were, at least from what I've heard, I'm not saying that this really happened, but from what I've heard, he was basically high on cocaine the entire shoot, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the 80s.
You can almost tell
Yeah.
by just watching the movie. Like,
It's really weird.
yeah, it doesn't make much sense at all. The entire movie, really,
Yeah.
It was.
and all of the characters, like the Ethel and Junior. I mean, she threatens a police officer, a sheriff, and he lets her just go. Like, oh, whatever.
Well, rednecks.
Yeah. And she starts to threaten him about having a bomb on her, and then she gives him the middle finger, like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And one of the lines I really love in this movie, and that's it's delivered by Ethel as well.
You big
Is,
dildo.
Yeah, that was big dildo.
I need to call people that more often. That was like.
Yeah. And when the guy comes and knocks on her door, and she's like, "Holy shit, who the fuck are you? What the fuck do you want?" It's just priceless.
Indeed. They had very nice characters in this one also. Like nothing like outstanding, but some of
I would say that most of the characters in this movie are
bland.
no, the opposite. I would say that they are completely bonkers, most of them.
Yeah.
And you know, there aren't any character development whatsoever throughout the entire movie. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And like I said, most of the characters just shows up to get murdered later on in the movie.
Yeah. But they also decided to like not have like that one crazy guy in the movie, but they instead decided to have all of them be crazy. Like, sure, go for it. And that's by making everyone crazy, like none of them stand out as like crazy in a way. Like you understand and see that sure they are crazy, but none of them points out that one or the other is odd in any way. Like in the first one, you had the first and second one, you had the guy on the bike that was like the odd one out.
Yeah, Crazy Ralph.
Yeah, and in this movie, not in the same way, but here everyone is Ralph, essentially.
Most of them are idiots, really. One thing that I think is pretty hilarious with the movie is that the catalyst for the entire movie is really based on a chocolate bar.
Indeed. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
I mean, if Joey hadn't gone to Vic with that chocolate bar, none of this would have happened. But on the other hand, why the hell did Vic have a axe to begin with?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I understand like they tried to have the concept of like you're free to be your own person here, no restrictions, but at the same time they are still like teenagers that are like mentally disturbed in some way with some kind of trauma or anything of in between. So you shouldn't really give them like access.
Yeah.
Like
And most of the teenagers at this halfway house doesn't really have any psychological problems either. It's just, I guess it's just Tommy that has some issues.
yeah, like none of them have like obvious ones. Like
Yeah, well,
Tommy,
beside Tommy, Joey, and Vic, I guess.
yeah, because anger issues, sure. And it would have been nice, not that I expected it of the movie at all, to just like at least give you a like half-assed like explanation to like some of the characters. Not that it's like visible at all of the characters, but it would have been nice to like at least see it
Yeah,
somewhat.
they give them a reason for being there to begin with.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's a dumb slasher movie, so who
Mm.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like unless like in movies like I haven't watched it, but like in The Cube, it is like vital to the character to like show it, but otherwise it's mostly whatever. But yeah.
Checking something up here. Okay, I remember correctly. The guy who played Vic, his name was Mark Venturini. He passed away in 1996.
Mm.
He was in The Return of the Living Dead from the same year as this one. And Miguel Nunes, who played Demon, was also in that movie. So you got two connections to that franchise.
Yeah. Noise.
And there are also a bunch of other connections to other horror franchises, like Juliette Cummins, who played Robin, I think her name was. She appeared in Psycho 3, The Slumber Party Massacre 2, and Deadly Dreams as well. And Dominic Brascia, I think his last name is pronounced. The guy who played Joey directed the slasher movies Evil Laugh and Hard Rock Nightmare. And he was accused by, I think he was accused by Corey Feldman for a pretty bad thing that apparently happened in late 80s. I'm not gonna go into what, but
Yeah.
it's out there if you wanna check it out.
Mm.
And he passed away in 2018.
Okay.
And then also you got Tiffany Helm, the girl who played Violet. Her real life mother, Brooke Bundy, played Elaine in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and 4. So you got a couple of horror connections all over the place here.
That's fun.
Yeah.
You said.
Did you guys figure out the killer's identity, by the way? The first time you saw it?
I felt like I had my suspicions, like almost like from the first time you saw him, but I felt at least sure of it by the second time because of the focus they gave the character, that he would either like be the killer or die. And when you saw the dead paramedic, I was like 100% because they didn't show the other one, and that's when I knew.
Yeah,
Because they gave him such a focus when he saw like the body, how he stared and whatnot.
yeah, he was shocked.
Yeah.
And for anyone who hasn't seen this movie, uh, what have you done for the past 35 years? And we will spoil the killer's identity, and it's of course the paramedic Roy, who uses Jason's what's it called, MO to slaughter everyone because of the killing of his son Joey by Vic
Yeah,
over a candy bar.
basically.
Yeah.
But
So if you start to think about what the catalyst of this movie is, it's really dumb.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
Do
mean,
not fuck with a man's candy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, I didn't figure the killer first, but I think this is the first Friday the 13th movie I ever saw.
Oh,
Yeah. I was like really young, and the only thing that I remembered from back then was when Jason killed the girl with the scissor, like when he cut her eyes.
mm,
the is it called hacksaw?
Yeah.
I think
very eye-oriented,
maybe.
the kills.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but that scene is really memorable.
Yeah, I really wish that we could get the uncut version of that scene.
Mm.
Yeah.
And another thing with that scene, just before she gets killed, they have sex.
Yeah.
And it's edited like the guy is a one pump chump, basically. The entire scene was actually a couple of minutes, I think. Because, well, Dennis Steinman, the director, directed some porn movies back in the 70s. So, I guess you can figure out how
yeah,
the scene would have played out if the editing department didn't do their job.
yeah,
This basically they were high and made a full porn scene.
I wouldn't had
mind.
been surprised.
Yeah. That's probably what happened.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I'm not against it, but it feels like it would like feel very out of place in a sense.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
it
well,
if it
I
was
don't think you would have seen any hardcore
no,
scenes,
sadly.
so to speak. Speaking of that character, by the way, she's played by Deborah Voorhees, and at least from what I've heard, she got into trouble at work as a teacher when her students came across this movie. So her boss basically said that either you quit your job or we fire you.
Hmm.
Not nice.
Yeah, it shows a bit how these movies basically are just a little tad better uh, than porn movies in some people's eyes,
Mm.
Yeah.
which I think is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much how it was back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would never see something like that in like movies today.
But who gives a shit? Everyone is born naked and everyone has sex.
Yeah,
I mean, if you are in a slasher movie and you show your tits, so what? You were a teenager and you just had fun. I mean, what's the problem? No, some people are so fucking stuck up. So
it would have been nice to at least like try and have it a bit normalized at the very least.
yeah, well, sex is so taboo
I-
in some places.
It's very taboo, but also the most natural thing out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is it doesn't make any fucking sense.
You have this guy in a hockey man going, "Ree, ree, I'ma kill you," but the nipple is too much.
Yeah,
It's weird. Like, you can make a movie where you shoot like hundreds of people to death, like chop their heads off.
mm.
But if you show a penis, that's like, you're not allowed.
Yeah. Then your movie will get an X rating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
No excuses, X rating.
Yeah, exactly. But genocide is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense, really.
The duality
Yeah.
of man.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, did you guys, by the way, notice the magical sweater?
Magical spider?
Sweater.
No.
I did not.
But Pam has a pink sweater while she's running through the woods. And it disappears in some shots and then it reappears in the shot after. And it happens like 2 or 3 times.
I think I missed that part. Somehow.
Well, I've seen this movie about 55 times, so it's, you know,
To be expected.
it's something I've picked up. Let me see here. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, what do you guys think about Violet? I can never fucking remember her name. Violet's death scene.
Who's
Hmm.
Violet?
The quote-unquote gothy chick.
Ah, her.
She was dancing before she died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Meh. Just that scene. Why?
I was thinking, I don't know if you guys have seen the review Decker Shadow did on the Friday movies. But in his review, he mentions that during that scene, the singer in Pseudo Echo, the band who plays that song in his eyes during the scene, that he might as well sing something in the line of look behind you. Oh, what the fuck was it? Bitch is standing right behind you or something like that.
Nice. Very self-aware.
Yeah.
You guys should check out his reviews. By the way, they are pretty funny.
Mm.
That kill is pretty much exactly the same as one in the first Halloween movie, where Michael Myers, he lifts up a guy against the
Yeah.
wall and stabs him with a knife. It's very similar.
Oh, yeah. Now that you mention that, I've never picked up on that. Yeah, yeah.
Like, something that I also like uh, saw was like the other girl that got into bed, like almost. It did remind me of like the first movie that it was machete instead of an arrow that got
Yeah,
stuck up.
the Kevin Bacon kill.
Yeah. So they did their homework, kinda.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the final fight in the barn?
The first thing I thought, they're back at it again with the barn.
Yeah, since the fight in the barn in the third movie
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So they picked a bit up little of every movie.
Yeah.
I thought it felt a bit awkward when they were in the barn and that guy was gonna fight Jason. He just stood there. And Jason Jason just walked up and like cut him. And then Jason just stood there. And he was like, okay, let's pull out a knife. Stab him.
You mean Roy?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like that's some Final Fantasy shit.
Yeah. It was kind of like when Reggie came with the like mini tractor at him, and he just stood there like, I'ma get hit, and then he got hit.
Yeah, he's just standing around like, duh.
He's not very good at this.
The funny thing is he has murdered like, what, 16 people or something before this.
At the
And he
very
had
least.
no trouble at all with that. And then now all of a sudden he's like, boy.
Like all his competence disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. I think my favorite scene of this movie, it's it's the one that I remember from when I was a kid, like that. I don't know why, but when they're like in the forest and Jason kills them.
The beginning.
Yeah,
Oh, the dream sequence.
yeah,
Yeah, it starts off like it will be a very serious movie, and then it's just tumbles down.
goes to shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's why I love it.
Yeah.
My favorite scene, I think, is either the final fight. I just love the ending of this movie. But I also really like the scene when Demon goes to take a shit, and his girlfriend is just shaking the outhouse. And a couple of seconds later, you get to see that her throat is slashed, and then that metal thing gets
Jammed in.
jammed into the shit house. That's actually a short, suspenseful sequence in the movie.
Yeah.
The only thing I think they should have done was that they should have jammed that metal pipe or whatever the fuck it is into the shed a couple of more times.
Yeah. To like really build it up.
Yeah, like almost giving him a chance of getting out of there.
Yeah. Being like one of the few survivors. Or at the very least, have you believed that he is?
Well, most of the other characters that shows up dies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I understand about what you're coming.
Yeah, like not that he isn't gonna die, but like have you believed it? Maybe, just maybe, for like a split second. If it was like more aggressive and then calm, which is like ooh kind of deal because it becomes too calm.
Another thing I think is pretty hilarious is the newspaper the sheriff shows Pam at the end. Who took that picture of Jason?
Uh,
I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
uh, found footage? Question mark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back in 1985.
Yeah, you know.
Oh no, no, this should be like 1989, I think, in the timeline.
Yeah.
I think.
Or just someone said, Jason, big fan. Stand right there, click and run away.
Yeah. Or something. Do you guys have anything else to say about Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning?
I think it was nice that they like picked a new mask to like show that it wasn't the same
Yeah,
Jason.
to differentiate him from Jason, yeah.
Yeah, and also like have Tommy's vision actually have the earlier one.
Yeah,
Because
the real Jason mask, yeah.
yeah, because that is the Jason that like scarred him, and to like drive home that it is not real, it is from his point of view, because the Jason that's out there killing people does not look the same.
Yeah. Speaking of that, when I watched this together with a friend, we had a Friday the 13th marathon. And we watched all of the Friday movies back to back during 3 days. And when we were watching this one, my friend knew that Jason was dead, and I was like, "Okay, who do you think the killer is?" And he's like, "Yeah, isn't it Jason?" I was like, "Yeah, let's see." Um, and at the end of the movie, he was like, "Okay, so it wasn't Jason." Uh huh. So he thought that Jason had come back somehow in this installment.
Mm.
But I think it's pretty hilarious how obvious the identity of the killer really is. I mean, it could have been more obvious who the killer is if unless they had like hang a neon sign around his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they when when they show Roy for the first time, he first of all he gets shocked, and then you can just tell how enraged he gets by seeing his own son chopped up.
Yeah.
Then by hearing his colleague calling them a bunch of pussies, you know.
Yeah.
And he's the only character that you see in, I think it's 2 scenes, and then he's just out of the movie until the big reveal at the end.
Yeah. And it's also like very obvious because like they did give like a few lines and see like pictures of like the other paramedic in the first one, but in the second one they ignored him entirely and like showed Roy and had Roy talk, which like further cemented that.
You talking to me, Sheriff?
Yeah, like
I mean,
uh,
they could have just set up a big spotlight on Roy, like he's the killer.
yeah, and it felt like too easy to make Tommy like the new Jason, and it just felt like a big red herring throughout,
Yeah,
like way too easy. So it wasn't even a challenge to do it, and very it wouldn't been a good movie. So yeah, which made it obvious it wasn't.
It would have been too obvious.
Yeah, and then you have this other guy.
I think they should have just. I don't mind that it's super obvious that who the killer is. But I think they should have just kept Roy in the background and just had him shuffle around in the background.
Yeah, and
Perhaps give him one or two lines and then just he being in the background.
yeah, or at the very least, like, if you're gonna show him angry in the first scene, at least give him a line to, like, throw off it, like, maybe,
His colleague, like shut up.
yeah, like,
Or,
they're kids.
yeah, they're kids. Shut up.
Yeah, to, like,
So something like that. Just to
throw you off the scent, to make it look like he's mad of other reasons.
yeah, exactly. Okay, well, when you watched this for the first time, do you remember if you could figure out the killer?
I'm not sure. I like I said, the first time I was really young, so I couldn't understand much. I think maybe the second time I could. There were a few years ago, so I don't remember if I could.
No. I honestly don't remember if I figured out. I don't think I figured out. I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I knew who Jason was because I had an older friend that had watched part. I think he had seen part 8 when it aired on Channel 5 here in Sweden. So he had told me about Jason, but that was pretty much all I knew about the character. So I guess I didn't know or understood what the hell was going on until way later when I rewatched it on DVD for the first time, which was in my teens. But yeah, I think we should start to round things up. We've been talking for quite some time now.
Too long.
Do you guys have anything left to say before we finish up?
The ending was kind of meh, I feel.
The cliffhanger, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it was pretty much the same shit they threw in the final chapter.
Yeah.
yeah. And it felt like they played the whole movie like, oh, is it gonna be him or not? And then they showed that it wasn't him. Only to be like, well, now he is. Like,
I don't mind the cliffhanger, but they pretty much threw that out the window with the next installment. So
it felt
Yeah.
very much like for shock value, mostly.
yeah, it's pretty much the same thing they did in Halloween 4, but 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
I kind of like endings like that when they actually follow it up. But if they just put it in and like, nah, never mind. Like that annoys me so much.
Yeah. But if you think about it, you could pick up a timeline like parts 1 till 5, and then after 5 there's no more sequels. That could be one timeline.
Yeah.
Since it's called A New Beginning, it's a restart of the entire
Franchise.
or it's more of a soft reboot, so to speak, without throwing out the existing characters.
Mm.
But then you got the one timeline where you just count the first movie. Jason did really die in This Is Voorhees. When she died, the Voorhees bloodline was gone.
Yeah.
But then you can also take a timeline 1 till 4, jump over 5, and then go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And Freddy vs. Jason. Because, well, I'm not gonna go into that because I'd spoil it for you, Zombie. But I think Ogge know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yes, anything else for like the 15th time?
I'm pretty done.
No, I'm out.
This will be one of our more lengthy episodes, I think.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Okay, so the next pick will be Thanksgiving 3, right?
Yes.
For Thanksgiving. I almost said Thanksgiving. And we are playing out with, and I've done a little special thing here for this episode. And we are actually playing out with 2 tracks this time. But I've not mixed them really, not mashed them up. Listen to the entire outro and you'll understand what I mean. We are playing out with Wolf is Just Fine, A New Beginning, which is a reference to this movie about a guy's first experience of watching an adult horror movie, and the first time he sees titties.
Oh, titties.
And the second track we will be playing out with in this mix/mashup/whatever thing I've done is, of course, Pseudo Echo His Eyes, which plays during the scene with Violet, which is one of my personal favorite horror connected tracks ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also Ogge's theme song.
Yeah, definitely.
Just so folks out there know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll say goodbye to the good folks then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goodbye, good folks.
Goodbye, good people. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in another episode.
Thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll hear from you in the Thanksgiving episode. Bye bye, and enjoy this little thing.
The first time I saw you was on the screen at Sebastian's house. Back then you were so much older than me, but now you're a child. Oh, I was wondering why you got naked when that boy started kissing you. Ooh. I was disgusted yet oddly excited. The feeling was completely new. Ooh. It made you laugh when he kissed your breast. I didn't get the joke. He got up a few moments later and left you all alone. As you lay there in the forest, I pictured myself lying right next to you. Ooh. You fell asleep, someone approached, I figured it was your friend returning to you. You didn't have any time to move. We sat and watched as he murdered you. I was safe, we wanted to play. Yo, brother, we should leave now. We were led astray, the pastor would say, yo, your sin shall find you out. I stood frozen, desperately trying to make sense of it all. Your body lay motionless and your face was covered in blood. And then your boyfriend came back looking for you. I started shaking cause I knew. We tried to warn him but he couldn't hear us. Through the screen, oh, what could we do?
There's a